more of them as they go down.
Go!
Clean start. Strong favourites on this, Van Sprang and Krommenhoek, I guess, Grace.
Yeah, and they come out of the start with a good amount of intent. I think they're definitely up a few points on the crew from Denmark, and sometimes in a pair getting that lead early on is a good way of just being more in control of your lane. You can sort of relax a little bit on the steering, which can be quite a difficult boat to steer down the course. But yeah, it's a good start from the Dutch crew.
Yeah, well, this Dutch crew really should, inverted commas, be going to Paris for the Olympics. It was so agonisingly close in the qualification regatta in Lucerne a few weeks ago. The three crews across the line, and they were all on 6:30 point something. Christian Kruse from Germany won it. The Stankunas brothers from Lithuania just got in front of the Dutch, and the Dutch couldn't get back, finished second. So basically they're not going to the Olympics. And Guillaume Krommenhoek, who's the stroke of the Dutch pair on the far side, the oarsman from the School Club in Amsterdam, he's not going to go to Paris, but Nicky van Sprang, because he can row and scull, he is going to Paris as the spare for the Dutch team. Yeah, I don't know if you talk to spares on the team and what that role's like.
Yeah, I think it can be difficult. Obviously, you're there to help support all your team members, but your goal is always to go to the Olympics as well. So, especially when you come through the last chance regatta, when it's a pretty quick turnaround to sort of change your mentality to be like, actually, I'm going from wanting to race there myself to going there to supporting everyone else. But equally, any experience is an amazing experience.
So, as one of the greatest ever Coxless Pairs rowers, Grace, take a look at Nicky van Sprang and Guillaume Krommenhoek. Marks out of 10 for what they're doing.
Oh, I think they'll listen to this back, so I don't know if I want to rate them out of 10, but I think what I'll say about pairs is what I really liked about them is you can row in quite unique ways. I think pairs traditionally don't ever really look like as lovely as a double or as in sync as a double, but it's about more finding your own pattern together and working together. They're definitely upbeat, they definitely go for the next stroke. I think Kerry and I probably had terrible habits of sitting back too long, whereas I think this pair is a little bit more direct. So I like how much intent they have, and I think in a race like this, when it's quite a strong headwind, tapping it along down the course might pay dividends for them, and so they don't get bogged down.
Yeah, Nicky van Sprang traditionally rows with his cap set back on his head. He is an amazing guy. We love Nicky van Sprang, the 31-year-old from the Pampas Club. Of course, went to Cal. He won here in 2015. In the visitors, he and Guillaume took the silver medal in the Dutch 8 last year at the Belgrade World Championships. And of course they would have hoped to have been in the 8, but they were designated to be in the pair, which they'd rowed in Tokyo, where they finished 7th. And, you know, it was looking good for them all this season until that final regatta. But here they are now, and they are trucking away.
Yeah, they're not letting up. Normally when you sort of get to this distance in front, you might start to drop the rate a little bit or lengthen out a little bit, but they're still going for it. And I think that shows the importance of semi-final knockout racing. You really want to make sure of it. And as a rower, there's nothing harder than if you kind of push out into a lower rate, and if the other crew starts to come back and you have to go up, it's tough. It's tough on the legs. It's tough when the lactate's really sitting there. But yeah, they seem to be going and going.
So I hope the Dutch team for the Olympics on their training camp in Hallstatterzee, if they're not on the water, are watching this pair and are cheering at the television for their two guys. I'm sure they are. And Nicky was up at Hallstatterzee doing the training with Guillaume. In fact, the Dutch Olympic team, I think they're paying for this crew here. Their coach down is Pete Weersum, who's not actually their coach here. He's actually coaching the Hollandia Women's 8 down later on this afternoon. But it is Rogier Blink who is their coach, and he's here too. And Rogier, stalwart of the Dutch team, is looking after this boat. Haven't talked a lot about the Danish pair. I guess we should mention them. and let's have a look at them. So these two guys, Magnus Valbirk in the bow seat with the blonde hair, 24, and Kara Mortensen in the stroke seat, 25. They're part of the Danish four that tried to qualify this year for the Olympics. A decent four with Magnus Rothberg and Bastian Sescher, that strong Danish sculler who came in when Sverre Nielsen took a year out. They finished in 6:07, just behind Italy, 6 minutes, so I think they were fourth, just behind the German four, so they couldn't go to the Olympics. But, you know, we'll see these Danes in future. Denmark's very, very good at shepherding their talent.
They really are, and I think coming from the four into the pair, like we touched on pairs and pair rowing just before, it can be quite hard. I do think the pair's quite a unique boat, so the fact that it wasn't that long ago they were at the final Olympic qualification regatta in a four and then making that transition, they've put out a really good show, and they do look like they're rowing really well, but it can just take a little bit of time to get used to the pair rowing and the way the pair boat moves compared to the four, which is a little bit quicker, a little bit more direct. Yeah, it's a new, unique boat to row, and how to learn how to row it.
Yeah, not sure. I'd give them a solid 8 out of 10 if you're wondering, Grace.
I'm too diplomatic. I don't want to rate them.
Tell me when we finish broadcasting,
Yeah,
and I'll whisper
we'll
it in Nicky Van Sprang's ear. If you want to follow Nicky Van Sprang on Instagram, he's always putting interesting stuff up there, by the way. And I think World Rowing in 2022 at the European Championships on the Sunday when he finished racing gave him the live Instagram feed for the day, and off he was interviewing people and yeah, making waves. So there they are, Van Sprang and Krommenhoek, and they will race either the German or the Irish pair in the final tomorrow should they prevail. Looks like he's got his pulse meter on, Nicky Van Sprang there.
Yeah, I guess the white outfits, if you've been out in rain, you can see a little bit more. But yeah, heart rate strap, and I think it gives you really interesting information, seeing all that data, and rowing has got a lot more technical, it's got a lot more added into it.
Can I ask you about the choice of white shorts for the Dutch pair? What do you think of that?
I think I might have to be a little bit diplomatic and bow out of that question.
I can remember an Italian crew who had white shorts in years past, and when it rained, it wasn't the best decision to wear white shorts. But the rain stopped now, so we're not too bothered about that.
Yeah, it's a bold move, but
yeah,
fair play.
There we go. So as they come up to the finish line, Nicky Van Sprang and Guillaume Krommenhoek from the Netherlands rowing here, I think, as Hollandia. And they will qualify, it looks almost certain now, for the final of the Silver Goblets and Nickalls Challenge Cup. Confirmation, we'll give you that shortly. And good race from Valbirk and Mortensen. From Denmark, Nicky Van Sprang and Guillaume Krommenhoek acknowledging. You can see the confirmation there on your screen. And